Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to 101. Welcome to the Norwich game preview, the player ratings. And I just want to say welcome to my panel. Welcome, African Guna. It's all gravy right now, bro. 4-0.
4-0. Yeah. When's the last time we won 4-0? I mean, we've been struggling for goals, so today was quite exciting to watch. I think overall the whole team, we'll get into it obviously later, but the whole team in general, I think, played well. It's kind of hard because with performances like this, you start to gain a little bit of hope. And this is the wrong time to gain hope looking at the next four fixtures. So it's quite dangerous. We're in a quite dangerous position right now. But I had a really tough day at work, really long day, and this really topped it off for me. It was made my day much more wonderful, I would say.
Yeah, and Neomis, it's good to see you back, man. Bro, it's good to see you back. And with a smile on your face.
Oh yeah, no, have to. With a performance like what we've done today, I mean, I have nothing more but having a smile because I know these come few and far between, these performances. So yeah.
For real. And Dan, it's good to see you back. Dan, smile, Dan, smile. We're kicking butt right now.
I'm happy, man. I'm happy. It was a good performance today, man.
For real. Let's say hi to people in the chat already. Dave, good to see you, Dave. Met Dave when I was on Sunny's stream, and African Guna was on there as well. Welcome to Dave. You swallowed the red pill taken from the Matrix movie. This is the real right here, bro. And Dave is saying, Naketi, bro, I was telling people that a year ago, and it's only now they're just seeing the truth right now in this kid, man. Lacazette is toast right now. I looked at him today, and he was just a shadow of himself. I was like, this guy, we bought this guy for 60 million. How can you sell him with any hope of getting any money back? I mean, the guy just looks broken, man. James, big shout out to you. So James, first off, I want to give it. Hey, that's 2 games we've had gifts now. Something that the gods are shining down on us. Cool K, what's going on, Cool K? Neomis, yeah. So you're loving it, man. You're in a good place right now. We're coming off the back now of Saka signing his contract. Le African Guna, what's your thoughts on Saka's contract?
I don't want to say I'm surprised he signed, but I'm really happy that he did. Obviously, as we've seen, I mean, he definitely is the number one. I think him and Martinelli are the top 2 youngsters in our team, regardless of Joe Willock and the other guys. I don't consider them in the same ballpark or same skill gap as these two who are leading the pack right now. And it's going to be really interesting to see next season where Mikel Arteta actually starts to solidify Saka's position. Because right now he's kind of like, Chamberlain was back in the day when he's a utility player because he's just, he has the speed and agility and he can kind of do anything, right? So it's going to be interesting to see where and how Mikel Arteta shapes him. He definitely has to be a pivotal player in our team, and it helps us in terms of, obviously, we're not able to spend much money, and so I think next season he's definitely going to be a starter for us. So it's great news for us. And to be honest, I saw there was a 5-minute video that they posted on Instagram. I'm not too sure if you guys saw it, about kind of Saka delivering the news to the fans. And when you listen to him, I mean, he's been there since he was 8 years old, and he really loves Arsenal, and you want to keep players like that, right? It's not about the money, it's more about the pride of playing for a club that you've grown up supporting and you're proud to wear the shirt. It's a dream, right? And that's the players that we want.
And that's the thing. Neomis, I was talking to David. David was asking me last night what's my thoughts about Saka staying, and I said my thoughts were really good because what I've heard from a few agents is exclusively from Colin as well, is that he said to me, look, he loves the club, he wants to stay, he's always said Arsenal's in his heart. I think it was really just the incentives they were working themselves around. It's a 4-year deal with a 5th-year option. That's what the team wanted. So it kind of, every side wins from here. What's your thoughts on Saka re-signing, Neomis?
To be honest, I was very nervous. I could honestly tell you, every time I think about Arsenal, I kept thinking, if we don't keep Saka, we will set us back another 3 years of development. Mm-hmm. And when about midday today, I'm working and I get the notification that Saka signed a new deal. I could not be happier. I mean, Aubameyang is important, but Saka's here now. He's producing now, and he's our future. So it was imperative that we managed to keep him. The only thing I would say is I thought maybe we would have signed him on a longer deal, because when you sign like 4-year deals, you know what it means is that you're going to be here for a couple of seasons. Then in maybe 2.5 years time, then you're going to start this negotiation merry-go-round all over again. And I don't want a situation to be where he's 2021 and he's there thinking of leaving all over again. And I mean, I don't know where Arsenal are going to be in 2 years' time, but hopefully we're there in a position where we could convince him to stay here even longer. But right now, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, Dan, what's your thoughts on him signing the long-term contract? And it is a long-term contract.
Yeah, I'm very happy with it, man. Like, I was gassed when I seen it earlier, but I expected him to sign. Like, a lot of people were negative about it, but it's just like we didn't know what our financial situation was going to be, did we? So we just had to wrap up a few things. I still think Auburn might sign as well. You know, I've just got a weird feeling that they might just pull it out of the bag. Like, I think he might sign as well. But in regards to what you're saying about Laka as well, we ain't gonna remember what I said last week. We're lucky to get 20 more for him. Like, that's what I'm saying, bro. This guy,
oh man,
dead food, as you say.
Yeah, he's just killing it right now. I mean, I looked at him today. Honestly, it was an embarrassment to see so many players trying. I mean, you know, we've had a knock on Salibas, we've had a Ceballos, sorry, Ceballos. We've had a knock on Bellerin, we've had a knock on Xhaka, and even though those players in certain ways are limited, they made an effort today. They tried. With Lacazette, he didn't even see
can't be bothered. He can't be bothered, can he? It's all, you know, I feel like he looks shocked though. Like, you know, like when a player's like 36 and that, he looks like that sort of guy. I see him come across to him. Yeah, he looks done. He looks broken. Lame, like a horse. You know, like when you shoot a horse, like he's done.
He looks proper Brock, man. He looks just like Brock.
No, but I see a ball come over to him. Like, even simple things like this, a ball come over to him, and then he tried to knock it back to Willock. And I'm thinking, bro, just volley that, man. Like, that's a straight up goal for you. It's on your good foot and everything, and then he's just knocking it back to Willock when Willock was like a mile behind him. Like, just stupid things, man.
Yeah, just also a shout out today, guys, about Wigan. It was a shame what's happening to them, but on this show we have talked more than any other Arsenal YouTube channel about the effects pre-COVID and post-COVID. And we've talked about the money situation. We've talked about Arsenal as well in terms of if no fans are in the stadium, we're losing 144 million next year. Then this is the reason why the transfer budget has been kind of taken off the table. So we're going to have to generate our own cash. But this is the real world, guys. This is the world we're living in right now, where you're not getting the TV revenue is getting pulled this season 25%. So clubs have lost a lot of money on the TV. They've had to rebate the money, in fact, because that money's paid up front. There's no concessions, you know, them pucker pies, them burgers, the beer that we pay £5 each for, that they're not making any money. And right now, Wigan is the first, and it's not going to be the last, I'm afraid. But it's good to see a team like Norwich that are actually looking after their finances well. So that if they go down, they're pretty much going to be safe because they've looked after their money. There's a good amount of players there that are still going to be playing in the Premiership next season. There's 3 or 4 good kids there. But as Martin Keown said, if they don't learn to play as a team, then they're just going to... That team was so disjointed. I mean, we didn't really play great today, but we still walked over them. That's how bad they were. So listen, let's bring in Martinez. Let's go for our player ratings now. And guys in the chat room, 14 of you watching at the moment, let's hear your views on what you think about Martinez. Let's get this number up. African Guno, what would you give Martinez?
Yeah, just before I get into the rating, I just wanted to address the point that Neomis was talking about in terms that he wanted to have Saka sign more than a 4-year deal. As a player, you're not really going to sign a 5+ year deal because in 2-3 years' time, you want to see where the club is at. You want to see the ambition. You want to see if the project is going well. So although as a fan, you'd love to see Saka sign a 10-year deal, as a player, you'd never do that. So that's just how it works in football. And I mean, I don't think ever in our lifetime we'll see players signing more than a 5-year contract. So I just wanted to address that point. In regards to Martinez, I mean, Yeah, so I think six out of the 7 Premier League games he's started, he's kept a clean sheet. I don't know. I usually don't like looking at stats. I think they're pretty flawed sometimes, but I mean, it is what it is. 6 out of 7, that's pretty good. He's catching balls and he's keeping them, balls that I wouldn't expect him to. I mean, he pulled some good saves today. There was that one shot that hit the post by the defender, which there was no chance of him stopping that. We got lucky on that.
Bro, there was no chance of any goalkeeper in the world.
For sure. But I think a solid performance again. His distribution is much better than Leno and Apollo. And I think, Dan, you might be able to chip in on this, but didn't I mention that the goalkeeper, that Leno, it wasn't going to make much of a difference on the team? I told you it wasn't going to make that much of a difference because both of the keepers are really good, and I think it was more on the creativity that Mikel Arteta had to solve. So yeah, definitely maybe an 8, a 7. I don't want to give him an 8. I think that's a bit too high, but 7. I mean, he didn't do anything wrong.
Bro, when we were 2-0 up, he had already made the save on the floor when he had to get down quickly, and he had to hold it as well. Otherwise, the striker would have come in for the rebounds. And he had also made another save before that. And at that point, when I looked at it in the game commentary, I typed in, if it wasn't for Martinez, this game would be 2-2. He's that crucial to the setup at the moment. Let's see what the boys are saying in the chat room. James has given him an 8. David's given him a 7. 18's gone for an 8. Kez has gone for an 8. Akuke's given him a 9. A Style has gone with an 8 as well. And Dan, nice to see you, Dan, man. Yeah, believe, bro. 8.5. So some really solid numbers there. Neomis, what's your thoughts on Martinez?
Again, just kind of reiterating what African Guna said. Another solid performance. He's impressing me even more. Again, like I said in the last game, my view towards historically on Martinez hasn't been great, but his distribution was great. Had 2 or 3 great saves. I know Norwich didn't really give him much to do, but yeah, just impressed me. I gave him a 7. I think if he had more to deal with, I think he would have dealt with it. And that's how confident that I am with him right now. So I think even if Leno was to be healthy, I think you stick with this right now. You stick with Martinez in goal. He deserves it. And, if he messes up, then that's when you bring Leno back. But so far, yeah, I think he's top goalkeeper.
Yeah. Dan, what's your views on Martinez? I'm not quite sure whether you're sold on Martinez yet.
No, I am. I still think Leno is the better keeper overall. But with Martinez, there's one thing that I really noticed about him: the ball. His handling. When he saves a shot, he holds the ball. A lot of keepers spill the ball, and he's so good at holding onto the ball when he saves a shot, basically. So that's what I really like about him. And he does have better distribution than Leno, but Leno is a better shot stopper overall. You give Leno a mad shot, his reaction times are crazy, but that's why I think he's just that slight bit better than him. But today I'll give him an 8. And I do that because, like you said, the low shot where he could have spilled that as well. He gave a little look afterwards. He pulled his eyes wide. He was like, you see that, boy? It's like, but then the free kick as well. You got to give him an 8 for that, man. 7's a bit too low. You know what I mean? That's the standard.
Yeah.
He's been good, man. And another thing about his distribution, I don't know, who did we play last game? Sheffield. You see how we set up Aubameyang?
That's what I'm saying. I like what he's doing with his distribution at the moment. And that's the 2 biggest things for me where I'm questioning him right now. And that's going to make my mind up. Even now, I still think he should get a run. Even when Leno comes back, I still think you keep him in there while he's playing like this, because if you can get that from him, especially against the top teams, then you found the goalkeeper, haven't you? And we've seen it happen in so many different teams before. But for me, it's the distribution and it's the mistakes, because Leno, as I said many times here, and it's been widely known, he's made more mistakes than any goalkeeper in the Premiership since he's come in, and we need to cut that out. You can't be successful if you make mistakes. Vincey, bro, we just done the scores for Martinez, so throw it up, man, and let's see what you're thinking about, guys. Mustafi, the serial offender, African Guna. This is going to be fun.
Another point on Martinez quickly. if you guys notice, he does a lot of long balls, way more than Leno does, and I think that takes a lot of pressure off of our defense because I hate it when we're messing it about there. It really makes me nervous, and that's been over like the last 4 seasons. Arsenal's always messing about there when we don't have the quality and the players to do so. So it's good to see that he's releasing the pressure off of us by, making the decision, telling everyone, no, go long, and he actually can play those balls. So that's good to see. In regards to Mustafi, man, I don't really have much more to say on this guy. Listen, today I did see him pull off maybe 2 long balls, which in the last 4 games he didn't pull off. But yeah, for me, 6. I mean, clean sheet, didn't do anything. Yeah, 6.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, he didn't do anything wrong, but he didn't do anything great. I feel like because we won, 5 is a bit harsh. So
okay. All right. I'll do mine afterwards. Oh, sorry. I'm so bad, guys. I'm so bad. I forgot to give my grade for Martinez. I gave him an 8. And again, quiet in the first half, but he was just pull off so many quality saves. Shame. I'm the guy that's going around here doing this, and the host, and I can't even remember to give my grades. That's bad. Neomis, what's your grade for Mustafi?
I gave Mustafi a 6 as well. Again,
Wow.
he didn't do anything wrong. It was a good, solid performance. He didn't really make any errors, any Mustafi type errors. But yeah, I've nothing bad to say about him. In this game. Yeah, it's good.
I think it's a little difficult for me because you guys remember I'm having to type the play-by-play. So when I see certain things happen, I have to put it on the chat for the match preview commentary so everybody can see what's going on. Let me give you my score. I give Mustafi a 3. Too many rash moments. He had the lowest pass completion on the pitch by 12%, which is the same things that's been talked about all on Reddit where they do all the stats. And I'm a stat man. He couldn't pass to save his life. He was so bad that Arteta pulled him off at half time. He had no choice because he was just bang horrible. So I'm actually being generous and giving him a 3. James has given him a 6. Vince is giving him a 9. I'm joking. That's Vince's score for Martinez. I just wanted to wind you lot up. No, David's given Mustafi a 4. Cool K's given him a 0. Wow. Vince has given him a 5. Kez has gone for a 6 as well, saying he didn't do that much wrong. Neomis and African Guna both said that, but I've explained, obviously, statistically, you have to remember, the manager gets all of the stats and he gets all of the information at half time. When he sees and studies the statistics of what his players have done, he has to make a choice of what he's doing. And when he saw what I saw with the stats, he had no option but to take him off the field. He yanked him because you can't play his first half as bad as he did. And he didn't make a mistake, but his passing was way, way off. It was the lowest. I think it was 78% or something like that, which is the lowest on the field. I mean, he just wasn't doing anything. And that's not what Arteta wants when you're playing it out from the back, and he yanked him. And Rob Holding was solid in the second half. So I'm shocked actually why Holding didn't start. He didn't start in the last game as well. It's gone. David's gone for a 3. David's changed from a 4 to a 3. Nice one. Vincey, is that a 6? And he gets at a half time. Exactly, bro. Dan Mustafi, talk to me.
3. I noticed that he was flopping, man. Like he was having one of them games. Arteta seen it, man. Like, this is what I like about him, yeah. He was like, this guy is gonna do one of them calamities, bruv, like Calamity Joe or whatever they call him. Like he's gonna do one of them mad passes, bruv. I seen it in Xhaka as well today. Until he scored and then he started fixing up, but then he did a couple of. But we'll talk about that later. But yeah, Mustafi, man, 3. He was heading for an error. I'm telling you, bruv. Like he was heading for an error. Like, especially imagine him in the second half. You see when Norwich came out and they were coming at us.
Oh my god!
Bro, he was gonna mess. Holding's our best centre back right now. Since the return, Holding is our best centre back.
But bro, I said 2 years ago he was our best centre back.
I agree with you, Colin. I'm one of the rare people in this channel that actually agree with you about Holding. He's more like Koscielny than any. You know how he can carry the ball. He went on a mad run in the second half. Went all the way up there. He didn't know what to do, but he got there.
Led the team in clearances today, even though he only played for one half. Yeah, that's Rob Holding. So, guys, let's move on to David Luiz, my favorite subject. And today he did exactly what I expected him to do. Let African Guna and guys in the chat, let me hear you throw down for David Luiz. Let African Guna, you got the conch.
Yeah, so I'm reducing Mustafi's rating from 6 to 5 because I can't. I'm going to give David Luiz a 6. I don't think it's fair to give them both a 6. Just one thing on Mustafi, he was trying to rush things a lot, and he was trying to make passes that obviously weren't there, but he was rushing it, and that's really why I think the stat about him losing the ball happened, because he kept doing it over and over again. And in terms of Arteta pulling him off, I think that was really, really good to see. I think under Wenger or Emery, we wouldn't have seen that. So he's setting a trend or a standard in the team that if you're not performing, I don't care if I started you. If you're not doing the job that I asked you to, then you're coming off, which is good to see. In terms of David Luiz, Apollo, I still am not convinced on him, but I do think that he had a better performance today. He looks much better in the 3. I don't know if he's carrying a little injury or what, but he is.
Every game he's going down with something, and I'm thinking, why are you starting him? He's not.
Yeah, his long balls is quite an asset for us, and I think it's only because our team is so bad that we notice this, because we don't have creativity anywhere else in the team, that when we see a defender, doing a long ball and basically going forward and launching the ball 40 yards forward, we're like, holy crap, we're actually moving forward. So we're like, that's a good positive trait that he has. He didn't make any mistakes today. One thing I do want to mention is whenever he was in positions, or like he was the last man and stuff, he didn't take any chances today. And I really like to see that, whether it was just kicking the ball out or heading it out or giving away for a corner or a throw in. Usually he doesn't do that, and he tries to play it out and be smart. Today he was, he did the simple things right. Clear the ball. If you're in danger and you're not comfortable, clear it out when you're in doubt. And so, I have to give him a 6. It was a good performance from him today.
And as I said, I've always talked about how well he's played under Arteta. He had a horrible game against Man City when obviously he wasn't fit enough to play. But today was a kind of game I expect from him. I might as well do my grade now because I'm elaborating. He dealt with all the issues well on the ground and in the air, and which is encouraging for him, because I want him to string these games together to gain the confidence back to where he was. But the fitness is a concern for me. Every game he's going down with a knee or an ankle or something. I think he needs to rest, and it's hard to rest when you're playing every 3 days. But again, that ball over to Kieran Tierney, oh my God! But he does that all the time. I talk about this every time we do player ratings. He is, I think, as Cool K talks about, he splits defense with these passes. He does that. And why it's so important, guys, is because when you're getting pressured and you're playing the ball out from the back, teams are throwing 5-men fronts up at you. And if you've got someone who can play a ball, pinpoint accuracy, you've broken their midfield. You've literally broken the neck of their midfield. And let's hear what everybody's saying right now. David, big shout out. I agree with that, bro. I've said it. I called it. Every time me, Tony, Bertram, Ebony, African Guna are doing, I'll talk about next year. I say next season, I want to see either Mari or Saliba, or Holding and Saliba. Let's have a look here. 18 is given 7 for Luiz. James, 7.5 for Luiz. Kez, 7 for Luiz. David, 6 for Luiz. Vincey, 6 for Luiz. Cool K, 7 for Luiz. Daniel, 6. Bare 6s and 7s, man. Bertram, you're not throwing up your scores, bro. You're saying when you win 4-0, your errors didn't create any chance. Win ahead, tackle of force. Not sure how you get a thought. Well, you're going to have to watch that again, bro, because this is where stats matter on term. I think you're talking about Mustafi. This is where stats matter, and you don't get yanked for half time for having a great game. Nobody will do that. Where are we? Right. So, Niamis, talk to me about David Luiz.
I thought David Luiz had a good performance today. Just kind of reiterating everything that you guys have said. I mean, again, I think his passing is really good. That's one of the things since being at Arsenal that I really think is his kind of defining characteristic, along with his free kicks. But he hasn't quite done that for Arsenal just yet. But his ability to play the ball out at the back and to create chances from defense, I think is key. And I gave him a 6. Now I know I also gave Mustafi a 6 as well. But I'm gonna leave David Luiz for a 6 because I genuinely think he's a 6.
Yeah.
I might bring Mustafi down to like a 4 or 5, but like I can't give David Luiz no more than a 6. Like unless he was getting an assist or like if he'd scored one of the free kicks, I can't give him any more than that. But
Yeah,
it was a good solid performance.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I talked about his game, but I didn't give him a grade. It's 6.5. I give him a 6.5.
Okay.
Some really, really good comments in the chat, guys. You guys are on your game tonight, man. Vincey's saying back 3 next season, Saliba, Holden, and Murray. Bro,
Yes.
you've got me
Yes.
on the lock right there. Vincey, I'm holding you to that, bro. I'm holding you to that. Dan, talk to me about David Luiz.
Yeah, I think he had a good, solid game, man. I think he like, I was really harsh on him the other day when he got sent off and stuff like that. But yeah, credit where it's due, man. He had a good game, and like, but I wouldn't give him more than a 6 because, like, you can't get a 7 for playing one good ball. Like, and we really today our defense relied on our fullbacks. Our fullbacks did the work in defense, and like we're going to talk about someone else in a minute, and I'll give them a higher score. I don't know if we will, but with David Luiz, I give him a 6 because he was solid. But like you said, you see his injuries, by the way. I heard you guys talking about he's going down a lot and he's carrying an injury. I do think he's carrying a knock. But if you've watched David Luiz for a few years, this guy always does that. Even when he was at Chelsea, he'll always go down in the game. And sometimes it's like killing a bit of time, or I don't know what it is, but he always goes down. He's clutching his leg and that. He's a Brazilian, you know what I mean? Like he likes to play things up a bit. So I think part of it is that as well, you know what I'm saying? Because he does watch him, he'll do that frequently. Even when you know he's not injured, he will go down and be like, my foot or something. So yeah, 6 for Luiz for me.
I'm smiling today because when I talked to James B and we were talking about some of the Rubblies, we were talking about Thomas Partey in London today, actually, his agent negotiating this thing for the Arsenal deal. And he was saying to me, it's funny, he goes, none of my players are going down much because they get water breaks. It's just the way he says it. It's just like, well, everyone's thinking, what's the point in wasting time? We're going to have a water break anyway. So it's just one of those things. Let's move on to Klasnach. Okay, so guys in the chat, let me hear you throw down for Klasnach. La African Guna, you got the conch.
You're silent, bro.
Is he on mute? Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah. All right. You got Klasnach.
Yeah,
You got
sorry,
Klasnach.
I was saying if I didn't hear Apollo give a rating for David Luiz. Did I miss that or?
Yeah, 6.5.
Oh yeah. Sorry, 6.5.
Yeah.
Sorry, my mind is pretty tired. So Kolasinac, to be honest, I think that he's doing well in the role that he's playing, but he's not really impacting. You know what I mean? Like he's just there in the game, and like the game is going on, and once in a while you're like, oh, Kolasinac is playing, but like he's not really impacting the game. So he's not doing anything good, but he's not doing anything bad at the same time. So I'm gonna give him an average score of a 5. I think, he's just I guess a rotation player because we don't have the depth right now in terms of quality and I guess even players or center backs in general. I think, next season, I don't think he's even going to be in the starting lineup. So, yeah, give him a standard 5.
Yeah, and, you know, I 100% agree with you. That is exactly what I was doing. I was going to give him a 5, and I thought he was just there to make up the numbers today. You know, when when the manager says, and this is an American football term, I don't expect much from you. Just hold your own. Don't get pushed over. Just be a plug and let's get us through 90 minutes. That's what I think Arteta said to him because he didn't have any impact on the game today, but he didn't make a mistake. He didn't really blow his lid today and do anything stupid. So he got a 5 from me as well. Let's see what our guys are saying in the chat room. Again, David, I'm agreeing with you quite a lot tonight, aren't I? The midfield is the midfield is a problem, not the defense. Yeah, once we fix the midfield, that works because we can then cover the frailties in the defense, and then we can also supply and support and balance the attack as well. And that's the reason why getting a quality midfielder. If we had 2 good holding midfielders, a lot of the problems in this team would disappear. Let's see what you guys are saying. 18's given Klasnach a 4. Kuke's given Klasnach a 5. Yeah, I agree with that. James is giving him some love, man. 6.5 for Klasnach. 5 again for Vincey. A lot of people are going with 5. Daniel's gone with a 5, and Kez has gone with a 5. Balanced performance, yeah, it kind of was. It does what it says on the tin. The thing about that for me, Kez, is he's supposed to be a guy like Monreal who's really creative in the final third, and we're not really seeing much offensive prowess from him or creativity, which is really strange. But I think his head's all over the place. I really don't think that Arteta's defined the position for Kolasinac. David's given him a 5. It's bare love, James. It's bare love.
In regards to what you're saying about fixing the midfield and having two strong CDMs, I do agree with you, but I still think if you have Mustafi and Xhaka and all these players, it's just one mistake, right? So the other team just has one attack and one mistake and will still concede. So we do still need to fix our defense. I don't think that we should ignore that. Yes, we do need to definitely get centered defensive mids, but I mean we can't rely on these defenders, man. I'm sorry, we need to address both.
Yeah, I mean, and in terms of that, I think the defense is being fixed. I think Vincey saying Holding, Saliba, and Mari next season, I'll go with that all day long. Look how many clean sheets they're giving Arteta. It was 5 in the last 8 before the lockdown. Horrible game against City. Yeah, we know. FA Cup, we let a goal in, but this is now 2 clean sheets in the league on the bounce. So they're listening to the manager, but those who aren't capable, like we saw with Mustafi today when he got hooked and pulled. And like you said, African Guna, you called it. If Mustafi had stayed on, we would have let goals in because he was shaky, he was wobbling, and he was going to give one up. So
let's not get carried away. We played 2 weak teams, man. Wait till the next 4 games. If we keep a clean sheet, then I'll agree with you and say, you know what, those 3 next season I'll be confident with. But for now, I mean, look, listen, did they play against any real top class strikers in the last 2 games? Not really. We have to be fair as well. Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't go for that. We played 2 weak teams because we hadn't beaten Watford and Norwich before this. We drawed both of them. This is a Premiership. If you look what happened to when Man City went to Norwich. This is a Premiership. If you come with that attitude that we're going to roll them over there easy, you're going to go home with your tail between your legs. Man City 3-2.
Talent is always like you can see talent no matter what, right? Yes, you have to work hard. Every game is going to be difficult. There's no given, but it's obvious in Aguero and Tom Cantwell. I mean, you can't compare the levels, right? So let's just wait and see the games against Tottenham and Liverpool and Wolves and Adama Traore. If we keep clean sheets, then I'll 100% agree with you. For now, keeping my cards close to my chest.
Yeah, Niames, talk to me about Kolasinac. You got the conch, bro.
For me, I think like you guys, I thought he had a good, solid performance. Again, he didn't really do anything wrong. Did he do anything like what I've seen Kolasinac do in terms of helping to drive forward? But he's playing in a completely different position. But for me, I gave him a 6, just a flat 6. I thought he didn't do anything wrong. So compared to the last game, yeah, so that's why I thought maybe he did a little bit better than a 5.
Excellent. And Dan, talk to me about Kolasinac, a real difficult one. I'm not sure. You said we were going to get to someone already. I'm not sure whether it was him.
It's him. I'm gonna throw I'm gonna flip the tables right now, because Kolasinac, I'm gonna give him a 7. I think he was one of our better defenders, and I'll tell you why. This guy is not playing as a left back. How are you going to see offensive potential from a guy who's being the left-sided centre back right now? He's playing that Azpilicueta role. You know, like when Chelsea used to play 3 at the back and they used to put a left back in the thing. He's playing that role for the last 3 games, and there's a reason Arteta keeps putting him there, because he's solid. Like Arteta's seen in this guy that he's the solid one out of the defence. He's going to give you a 6 or a 7 every single week, and that's what he's been doing. Like there was a time also when he got the ball when we were under severe pressure. He got the ball, picked it up in defence, and drove out of that defence and took all of the pressure off our back line. So with Kolasinac, I think you need to look at him in a different role now, because we're playing with Tierney as the left back and Kolasinac is a left-sided of a 3. So we have to look at him and judge him as a centre back right now. And if you're saying he's not done anything and you've not noticed him for the whole game, that means he's done a good job, bruv. As a centre back, you don't want to notice your centre back. You just want to know that they're not getting through. Do you see what I'm saying? So
I think that's why me and the African Guna. Don't nod your head in the African Guna. Don't do that.
No, listen. You want to see your centre back steering the ball, like Holding, right? That game where he played really well. It's because we actually saw him heading balls out, and it wasn't unnoticeable. You noticed that he was actually there and making an impact. So yeah, I agree with you. Kolasinac is playing in a different position, and like he's not making any mistakes and stuff, and maybe because he isn't running forward and he isn't crossing, we're like, oh yeah, the guy's actually playing well. But yeah, for me, no, it doesn't bring anything to the team.
I think
he's just a number.
Solid one. He's the one that provides a bit of like, like if we need a player barging off the ball, send the tank in there because he's going to send them flying. That's what sort of role he's playing for. You see what I mean? So I think he's being a bit overlooked because he's playing out of position than what we're used to. And would any of us last season have said Kolasinac could play that role? No way.
Yeah,
I would have been like, no way.
Because he's predominantly been a win back. He's predominantly been someone who you use in that 3 at the back system and 4 midfield. And that's where he's always had his keep. So very strange to see him in a position like this today. So yeah, I 100% agree. Guys, let's move on to Hector Bellerin. Guys in the chat, let me hear you throw one up for Hector. And let African Guna, where do we go with Hector, man? Did he improve today?
Garbage. Seriously, dude. Seriously. I want him to do well. I want him to do well, but come on, man. He got a haircut. He looks fresh and stuff now. He's made a commitment to planting trees, saving the planet. And then when it comes, the talk is good, but when it comes to performing on the pitch, dude, this guy had like so many chances to cross the ball. He still can't cross the ball. His decision making is really bad. He was in acres of space, took too long to decide what he wanted to do with it, and then it went out for a corner. I mean, and then you see Suarez comes on and scores within 2 minutes with like his 3rd touch, for the club. I mean, you know what I mean? So for Hector Bellerin, who was, he started off as a wing back when he was younger, right? He's a winger before he was converted into a right back. So you would expect his attacking play to be much better than it is. And over the last 4 years, even under Wenger, we've been saying, oh yeah, he just needs to improve on his, offensive creativity and his distribution and his final ball. And it's 4 seasons later, and I know he's had injuries and stuff, but still no improvement from me. I think his value, I remember Barcelona were talking about 40, 50 million pounds a couple of years ago. There's no way we're getting more than 20 for him. And for me, we signed Suarez for 4 years, and we have Maitland-Niles as a backup. For me, he's not needed in the team. And yeah, he can go bye-bye.
It's really funny because Bellerin's been around for a long time and he's never been able to cross a ball. And then we see guys like Saka and Turney come in, and the way how they can deliver a ball into the box. And obviously Pepe's on that right side. And it's funny because, and again, I might as well go because I'm talking, right? I expect a lot more from Bellerin. This is a guy who talks about he wants to be captain. And for me, he should have done much better when Ceballos slipped in the ball and he had the opportunity to cross it in, and he just woofed it. And he's never had that. It's like he's never been able to look, he's never been able to make that mark as a facilitator and someone who provides offensive power to a team. It's always something he's wished he could be, but never quite been able to lock it down. And today, I actually like the fact, I saw improvements in his game. I like the fact he started to cross the halfway line, which previously I've said to him, why? What's this guy doing? He's not even penetrating. He's not even going into an attacking position.
We were dominating play, right? So that's why. If we were playing a better team, I don't know if we would have seen that, to be honest.
Yeah. So I'm going to give him a 5. I thought he improved today, but 5 is still average, man. And he's as far as I'm concerned, we've seen his limit right now, and I'm ready to for Niles to take that place. Cedric Soares came in and look what he done, and that is what we expect from a right back. So Bellerin, boy, this might mean that your days are numbered and you're going to be sold in the summer, because I would keep Niles and Soares at right back. Soares is 28 years old. He's adapted the Premiership. He was good when he was at Southampton. We know that because when we draw them 2-2, he was one of their standout players. But let's see what our boys are saying. 18 saying Bellerin 6. Vincey's saying 6 as well. I'm not going to show you what David just said there. Kuke has gone for Bellerin 4. Kez has gone for 6. That's a good score. David's gone with the narrative as well for Bellerin. James has gone with 6. And David's finally given us a score, 2. Thank you, David, for that, bro. He's gone for 2. Dan's gone for 5 as well. No, he didn't help Nelson. He's never helped Pepe, so I wouldn't expect Nelson to get any. And this is the reason why Nelson really struggled today, because he just didn't get any help from Bellerin. And yes, he can't cross a ball. Neomis, talk to me about Hector Bellerin.
I like Hector. I really do, but today is just an average performance for me. Out of all the defenders, he was the worst one, and I gave all of the defenders a 6, the back 3. For me, I gave him a 5 just because if we had lost this game somehow, I know Bellerin would have been at fault for it. It was one of those games where I felt it was an opportunity for him to improve. I predicted before this game that Arteta was going to make lots of changes to give other kind of fringe players a chance to freshen up. And even though he didn't make any like major mistakes, I wanted him to really go out there and shine. Like everybody keeps talking about Maitland-Niles as a right back, and I'm like, God, you've got to be kidding me. Maitland-Niles at right back, like Bellerin, I'm sure you can be better than Maitland-Niles, and he never proved that today. Like I'm quite disappointed in Bellerin. So a 5 is the best he can get, and to be honest, it's probably quite generous.
Yeah, and would you agree with that, Dan? Or Dan, you're going to come with something different right now?
Nah, I fully agree with everyone. Unfortunately, I really like Hector as well, but you can't cross his heart and hope to die, let alone cross the ball, fam. Like this guy's washed out, bro. Like and you know what? Remember I said he's lost his pace. He's lost his pace, bro. Like he's fully lost it. That injury killed him. He's done. He's done. Like he's an average player. We need to get 20 mil, whatever we get for him is profit in it. So it don't matter. Let him go.
Rating?
Yeah. Man's not even rated him.
3.
3.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah. What's good? It's good to see Tony, man. Tony, it's good to see you in there as well as Bertram. What did you think about the Bellerin score? I know, when it comes to scores, you try to be as consistent as possible, but it would be good to hear what your thoughts was on Hector Bellerin today, Tony. Guys, let's move to a brighter player now, Dani Ceballos. Guys in the chat, throw up your love for Dani Ceballos. Let African Guna, you got the conch.
9. Man of the match. Man of the match. First half, he dominated. And every time he gets the ball, I think he's not spinning as much as he was in the first few games. Maybe because it was a home game, he was much more comfortable. That goal he scored, obviously, in the final minutes, 100% gave him confidence. He ran the show. I know in the second half, he kind of disappeared for me, but he was putting in tackles. He was chasing. He was hunting like a wolf today for me. Complete midfield performance for me. Always looking to go forward, always looking to take on players. There was this one Cruyff turn he did on a Norwich player, and I was like, whoo, he left him for dead, man. That's the type of quality that we want and we've been missing in our midfield for a long time, and that's what we expect from Ozil, right? It doesn't change my mind, to be honest, on whether we should keep him or not. I think for the price that Madrid's asking, I wouldn't keep him. But to be fair, he is proving his worth in terms of the loan fee we paid. Although I know it's only 2 games. To be honest, I think he's driven this team in the last 2 games and he's kind of pushed us forward. I think if we didn't get wins in these last 2 games, we would have been stuck and plateaued. And I think he's really given the team confidence to maybe push on for a European place. So I'm really happy with him. 9.
Excellent. So that's a big 9. We've gone with an 8 from 18. We've gone for 7 from David. And James is giving him a 7 as well. What have we got here? We've got Cool K's giving him an 8. Great defensive awareness. Yeah, he doesn't get enough respect for that, by the way. The way he works from box to box to help out both sides. And that's why I was saying to you guys, a good holding midfielder is one that can get up and down. And Torreira does that when he plays. The problem is we can't get Torreira to play in the right position. All the time at the beginning of the season, Emery played him at the top in the diamond. As soon as Arteta came in, Arteta gave him 1 game at holding defensive midfielder where he's so good at, and then he got injured. And it's just like, Torreira's the hard luck kid right now. He's not getting any luck. This morning we heard he was fit enough to get a call for the game. And where was he? It's just one of those things. Neomis.
For me, I gave Ceballos a 7. I thought this is, for me, one of the best games that I've seen him had, and I would have given him more if he had gotten an assist or scored a goal out of the game. So for me, just based on the way how I grade players, I had to give him a 7. But his tenacity in midfield, love the way how, I don't know if he's been talking to Guendouzi, but the amount of diving that he did today to get us free kicks and to cause the referee to slow the game down, like, I loved his work rate, like, really good. The way how he was driving the ball forward, trying to create chances, trying to break through lines. That's something that I haven't really seen with Danny Ceballos. So I don't know whether this is a new Danny Ceballos, or if this is just more so that they see that it's Norwich and they know that they're there for the taking, so they're just more confident. But I want to see more of this Danny Ceballos, because I think if he played like this every single game throughout the whole season, he would have done far better. Then we probably would have been talking about, yeah, maybe we should pay money for Danny Ceballos. But yeah, I thought it was a good, solid performance.
So we've got some more scores coming in. Let's have a look at now. We've got Vincey with 8.5. He shines in his games, but which isn't enough for the player and of his ability. It isn't. And Dan, I'm actually going to go on to ask this question to Dan. For a player who's shown you what he did when he got that man of the match at Burnley at the beginning of the season, and then he shows you what he's done over the last 2 games, you have to ask yourself, Dan, is it inconsistency which is a problem with this guy? Is that the reason why he's here at Arsenal? Because Madrid probably think that he's someone like Mkhitaryan, who some games he switches on and some games he switches off. Could this be the issue with Ceballos?
Nah, I think he's just a young player, man. Like, young players their consistency comes later on in their career. That's why they have a peak. You know what I mean? He's just a young player. He's still like technically he's a under 23s player, I think. So. I think that's just the issue with him. And I also think he is a bit of a flat track bully at the moment. Like, if you look at the sort of teams that he's stood out against, they haven't been towards the top of the table. Or if they are at the top of the table, they're there by luck, like Sheffield United and teams like that, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think it's more to do with his age than... He's going to be a top player. You can see that this guy is going to be one of the best in the world one day. And if we could get him, like, if we had the money, I would say buy him, because he's shown us enough this season in the games he has played outside of injury to warrant us signing him. But we need other players more, and we're broke. That's the only issue, isn't it? Otherwise, we wouldn't sign him. If we could get him on another year for a loan deal, I'd take it. That's what they were talking about the other day, innit? Yeah. I'd take that, definitely. But
it's interesting to see what they do if they can come up with a plan like that. But I do agree, because... Look, Arteta loves the guy, and we know that. I've talked to you guys about this before. In the Under-21s World Cup, he was the star player of the whole tournament. And since Arteta's come in, when he started, I think because of the injury, he wasn't up to fitness. And then slowly, he came back in. And as soon as he started playing, his link-up play with Ozil and Pepe, everything started to improve. 4-0 win at home at Newcastle, 3-2 win at home to Everton. You know, we was really starting to dazzle at a point where before that, we were struggling to score goals. But right now, let me go back to Tony. Tony's saying 8, good first half, tailed off badly in the second. We lacked a real number 10, and Ceballos would fill that role. I think that's I agree with you guys. I think that if we can get him on a permanent a second deal, a second-year loan, I would definitely take that, especially in this climate now where people ain't got no money. So, yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. So that's a 7 from you, yeah?
Yeah.
Excellent. Guys, I'm going to love this right now. Guys, we've just jumped on the gravy train. It's Xhaka time. Let's talk about the man Xhaka. Guys in the chat, let me hear your love or whatever it is that you got for Xhaka right now. Look at the smile on the African Gooner. He's just licking his lips, man. Man looks like he's about to eat some pork chops, some oxtail, rice and peas, jerk chicken. Talk to me, man.
Give him a 10.
You can't give him a 10, dude. I'm smiling because he actually had a good game. That's why I'm smiling, and it's tough not to give him credit. I still am frustrated when he keeps passing it backwards for me. But as we said, we've seen it that, he's He's brought a lot of solidity to the midfield. His passing range is something that we rely upon. And again, we see these things because our midfield is so bad that, the small, I guess, talent or little talent that he does have is outshining the rest of the midfield for me. And to be honest,
I just want to ask you a question. Name me one killer pass he played today.
The one that he put through the keeper's legs.
Yeah, that's a shot. I said pass.
No, he had a solid game. No, again, he didn't have any like needle pass or anything, but he had a solid game. So for me, I'm not giving him a high rating. I'm giving him a 6. I think because he scored, I have to be positive about him. If he didn't score, I would have given him a bang average 5. But because he scored and he took on a shot and he scored, you have to give him a 6. The thing is, he knows that he has a good shot. So I don't understand why he doesn't take more shots. Like, in his first 2 seasons at Arsenal, he used to take wild shots, like shots that he shouldn't be taking. And we used to get upset at him saying, like, you think you're Messi, you're going to score from there? Now he doesn't take shots, period. He just turns backwards and plays it back to the defense. I want to see him take on more shots because we need goals from the midfield. And he proved it today. I mean, he has the talent to score in the right position. I was really good. It was really glad to see that he pushed on forward and he got himself into the box and he took on the shot instead of trying to find another player. If Ozil was in that situation, I don't think that Ozil would have taken that shot. That's something I also want to mention. So I still don't like him, but 6.
And it's interesting you said that, because the one thing that frustrated me about his performance today was, and it probably was a little bit because Norwich's shape was awful. I mean, their defensive shape. Remember, before this game, they've let in 56 goals. Now they've let in 60. There's a reason why he just ran in on there, which is something he hasn't really done this season. And I'd like to see him do more of that. I just think he can't, because he knows his pace isn't great, his range isn't great. If he pushed up that far forward, he'd get nipped from behind. So that's probably why he doesn't do it. Again, he plays within the limitations, doesn't he? Today he could put his shiny steel toe cap boots on and he could put his top hat on and he could dance a bit because he didn't have to worry about getting hit on the counter. So, for me, I'm actually going to give him a 7. And I thought he moved the ball pretty well, even though it wasn't forwards. He wasn't able to find a killer pass, but he took his goal well because he ran late into the box. Imagine if he was able to do that every game. But I do want to say one thing. My biggest knock on him is how many times he gives the ball away. And I haven't seen him give the ball away in a few games now. So he's not costing us. So look, he's in there, and as long as you don't cause any issues or don't make a fool of yourself, then I can deal with that.
One question that I wanted to ask, maybe when we can all give our ratings, maybe give our feeling on him getting the captain's armband. I'm just curious.
Oh no, I made it straight to Tom. If he does that, yeah. I'm done, because I'm done because I haven't. He hasn't forgiven. He hasn't apologized for what he did with the fans of the Emirates, and I'm a season ticket holder. And if the team went that route, I would have to make a stand. I'm not standing for that. He disrespected the fans and still hasn't apologized. And no amount of football or goals you can play. We paid money for entertainment, and what he did was disrespectful. And until he comes to the Arsenal Supporters Trust meeting or something on that respect and apologizes, then no, I'm done. So let's see what the guys are saying. We've got 18 who's given him a 5. James has gone for a 7.5. But Dave has just given him a 9, man of the match. He was better than Ceballos. That's take some doing, David, man. Kuke's given him a 7. Vincey's given him an 8. We got any other scores? No more scores. Neomis, talk to me about Xhaka.
Okay, so I'm also not a big Xhaka fan, but I honestly have to say I thought he played really, really well today. I gave him an 8 for the sheer fact that he scored the goal. I'd always criticize Granit. I criticize Arsenal overall. We need to have a midfield that's fluid enough where we could constantly have that fluid movement going forward. And for the first time in I don't know how long, Granit Xhaka tried to go forward and to actively take shots. And that's what I want to see more. I mean, I know he's not capable of doing it every single game just because of the level of opponents we're going to go up against. But I thought he had a good, solid performance, and the fact that he capped it off with a goal, like, how can you criticize the guy? You gotta give him at least a 7, and I gave him an 8 for that. Didn't really do that much stuff wrong, and I just hope that he manages to continue this good form in our next game.
Yeah, and so a 7 from me and an 8 from you. What was your score, African Guna?
6.
6. Dan, talk to me about your boy Saka.
I don't know. I noticed some things today, man. Like I noticed a couple of bits today that I weren't happy with. He got the goal, so he's gonna get a couple of extra marks for that, yeah. But he did give the ball away today. He gave the ball away a couple of times, and you know what he does? That does my head in, bro. He loves playing a square pass when there's a player right in the middle, near where he does it every single.
So did I miss that one? Because I'm always looking for that, man. I'm like a bird hunter. Yeah, I'm like a bird watcher.
I can't remember who he gave it away to, but he definitely, because I remember being vexed. I was like, "Ken, Saka, what are you doing, bruv?" Like I start screaming at this. Like my sons get scared and everything because it does my head in. I'm telling you, but yeah, he gets a 7 from me today because he scored the goal. His positioning. I was shocked. He must have had a nosebleed. He was so high up the pitch, bro. We never see him up there. You get me?
Yeah, we never. It would be interesting. It'd be interesting to see if we see him up that far again against Wolves.
He's done it before. Like he did it when Wenger was the manager. Wenger used to encourage him to get in there, but that's because we'd have Coquelin or someone defending at whoever it was back then. Do you know what I mean? But we don't have that. He's that guy now, isn't it? So you won't really see him up there. But yeah, 7. Like it would have been an average performance except for the goal.
I agree. If it wasn't for the goal, I would have given him a 5. But yeah, I mean, he gets a 7 from me as well. So well done. I mean, you know what? When a guy plays well, you got to give him kudos for that. When he messes up, which he does a lot, and you stick the boot in. So let's see what he does in the next game. And it's going to get tough from here on, guys. Listen, the honeymoon period is over. So it's going to get tough. We're going to have a serious run-in. Let's enjoy 3 wins on the bounce. And before I want to go into Kieran Tierney, I want to say one thing. I predicted this team would draw against City, lose against Southampton, draw against Brighton, and beat Norwich. So I only had us at 4 points at this time, and we've got 6. So I actually think we've done better than what I thought we were going to do. So it'd be interesting to see what African Guna thinks about that. But let me hear you guys throw up some love for Kieran Tierney. What's your views and your grades for Kieran Tierney? Let African Guna.
Yeah, we need to come up with a chant for this kid real soon, right? I mean, yeah, I don't see him coming out of the team. Again, man, I told you last podcast, and I know Tony was arguing with me saying, oh, he's not better than Nacho Monreal. But, dude, he is, man. He is better than Nacho Monreal. This kid has everything, man. Literally, he takes on players for fun. And I know that he does the same thing, but it works, so you can't knock him for it. He has the pace. He doesn't want to turn back, you know. And the thing I like with him is his variety of crossing. He's not just a good crosser in the air. He knows when to play the ball on the ground as well. And so he has a variety of different crossing, which we haven't seen. I mean, look at Bellerin, look at Monreal, all these guys that just cross the ball. I'm sorry, even Chamberlain, Theo Walcott, they would just cross the ball and hope, even Iwobi. And we finally found someone who actually knows how to cross a ball in different variations, which is wonderful to see. I give him an 8. I mean, you can't knock him for anything. His game is just so well-rounded, and he gives us such good protection. I think our left side is very, very strong. And as we said, I mean Bellerin, and we'll get into Reece Nelson. That side was really weak for us today. So yeah, it was really good to see the left side doing really well. And in terms of Xhaka having a license to go forward, I think it's because of Arteta's structure, right? We have so much cover in the back with Kolasinac and I guess, yeah, just how many players they are filling those gaps that Xhaka can go forward most of the time without having to really worry about, leaving gaps or spaces. That's something I wanted to mention. But yeah, 8 for my boy Kieran Tierney.
Yeah, I've gone for an 8 as well. And I'm surprised. You know what surprises me about this kid? Yeah. And I did say this on the last podcast when I was with Bertram, Tony, and yourself and Ebony. I went back to watch a few of the Celtic games in the Champions League. because I wanted to see what this, because Champions League is his level. Remember, he's used to winning titles with Chelsea, even though it's a so-so league. But you play in the Champions League. Yeah, when you're a Celtic player, you play in the Champions League. Yeah. So I watched a few of the games that he played, and he was absolutely rock solid against some really good players. So we shouldn't be surprised at what he's doing at Arsenal. But what I'm surprised about is the definition of him being a great defender and someone who is a great attacker is so good that, and that for me is where, you know, you fit into that Monreal-esque consistency level. You're going to always be a consistent player when you are good on the ball, when you have the ball at your feet. He's brilliant at that. He's so intelligent. He knows what to do. He knows how to hold onto the ball. He gets back and defend. There were so many times he took Max Aaron out the game today completely. He shut him down. So those are the things that we need to talk about, is what he does as a defensive stance on the game, as well as what he does offensively. The crosses he was putting into the box was giving Norwich fits. This guy is the full package. He is the total package. I can't wait to see him develop within 2 years. And remember, Pep and Arteta at Man City, the fullbacks attacking were the most crucial part of their line, because when you're a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, when you move forward, when the ball crosses the halfway line, you move to a 3-2-5. So you've got them 5 players on the final third that are just trying to disrupt the defense. And he is so good at that. Listen, 8 for me, man. This guy is the real deal. Neomis, have I given the scores out from the guys yet? Have I done that? No, I haven't. Okay, so Attorney 18, it gives him an 8. David, I'm not going to put that because David did change his mind. James, an 8. Kez, an 8. Vincey's given him an 8.5. Scricket ball, you're late, man. What time you call this? A 7. Kouke's given him an 8. A strong defense yet again, extremely dangerous. That's what I'm saying, bro. He is a box-to-box wing back, and he's not just that because he is. He's doing that at a high level. It's not just because it's Norwich. We've seen him do this. When he played at Man United, he wasn't 100%, and he still played really well. And against James, who was a really good winger for Man United. Tony's given him an 8. David's gone with an 8. Okay, cool. Neomis, you got the conch.
I also gave him an 8 as well. Mr. Consistency. As I was watching the game, I was remembering the last podcast, and I just started to think, you know what, he's Monreal 2.0. Like, just again, another really solid performance. Like, I just want this guy just to get more assists, score a couple of goals, and then I could really make him my man of the match. But I have nothing bad to say about Kieran Tierney. Just a really good, solid player, and again, nothing at fault. I wish all of our defenders were as consistent as him and put it at that high level that what he's shown so far for the Arsenal.
And he's so young as well. This guy's 22. I mean, come on, man.
20. Can you imagine when he's 25, 26?
Oh.
I honestly believe we are going to have one hell of a team. Like, if we get the defense right, if Saliba turns out to be the player that he is and Holding continues to be as solid as he is, wow, we are going to have amazing defense.
Could you believe we were skimping on paying an extra 2 million for the transfer fee?
I know. I know. If he had gone to a Chelsea or Leicester right now and we had seen how well he's played, we'd have been kicking ourselves up the arse for not getting this guy in. Like,
and did you see how quick Brendan Rodgers was talking about when everyone's saying, yeah, Saka should be left back and we should sell Tierney? Did you see how quick Brendan Rodgers was like, bro, I'll take him off your hands?
Yeah, of course. Because he knows what he's dealing with. He knows how good he is.
Oh, my God. Madness. So Daniel's given Kieran Tierney a 7 as well. And what's David saying? Lee Gunner said Arteta is bad, and yeah, I don't know why he's saying that. And you know, every fan deserves a voice. That's all I'm going to say on that. But bro, I mean, seriously, man, come on, Lee, man, come on, Lee. Yeah, good point about Max Aaron. He did, mate. He shut him down. He's doing his defensive duties. he's given Mustafi a 2. Okay, I wanted to find out what he was going to give Mustafi. A lot of things going on there. What's this? You man are gloating. Tony, that's because Tony, that's because the next 4 games.
We know what's coming.
Tony, we might not be feel this happy and smiles for a very long time, bro. Seriously. Bertram is saying he's a good player, but let's judge him over the next 3 games. Yeah, I agree. I totally 100% agree with that. Dan.
What, Kieran Tierney? What I like about him is leadership. If you look at this guy in the last 2 games, he's really grown and become a proper leader. Do you see what I mean? You seen that picture of him screaming his lungs out, bro? Like, that's what we need. That is what we need. Yeah, bro. Incredible Tierney, bro. The incredible Tierney. That's what I'm saying. Like, this guy is turning out to be a leader, and he just turned 23. He turned 23 in June. So think about that, bro. Like, he's a leader already at 23. We ain't had one of them since, I can't even think, like Tony Adams maybe, or Vieira, one of them sort of guys there where he's gonna, and that's what we've been missing. That's what I was saying the other day about Guendouzi, the passion he showed when in the Brighton game. You need players that are going to do that, like, and Tierney is one of those guys. So if you think we've got a team now with players like Guendouzi, he's got a bit of passion in him. You got Tierney, who's got a bit of passion in him. You see what I'm saying? Martinelli, a bit of passion in the way he plays, and then you're starting to see the origins of a team, because you know the greatest teams, they grow up together, don't they? So we've got all these players that are young, ready to build up together and become a proper team. So yeah, Tierney, I'm gonna give him a 7, but not because he wasn't great today. He's getting the same score as Xhaka, who only got that because he scored a goal, but just because he was solid today, but he didn't really have to do too much. Like, he stood out, but he didn't. I don't know, 7.5. I'll give him 7.5 because he was better than Xhaka.
In the first half, to be honest, I think most of our play, he was our out ball, and I think that if he didn't play that well today, I don't think that we would have been leading 2-0 in the first half. Even though we got gifted a goal, I think him and Ceballos were the 2 key players in that first half to set the trend and help us win the game. He had a lot of space.
Okay, so guys,
he wouldn't have been able to do what Tierney did. See, Tierney has good end product. If Kolasinac was there, we would not have gotten the same product.
Definitely. That's the thing about Monreal as well. He didn't have the end. Like, he was solid, don't get me wrong, every game, but he didn't have the end product that Tierney had. Monreal would score a few goals, but he couldn't cross the ball. Bellerin can't cross the ball. Do you see what I mean? Him and Saka have turned things around for Arsenal in the sense of being able to put balls in the box. And Cedric as well. We need to talk about him because there was a period in the game he blew my mind, bro. Like,
yeah, so. we can talk about him after, because normally I don't do substitutions. I kind of used to do that when I did the things, but I kind of add them in if we need to, because he did make a huge impact. Guys, Reece Nelson. Guys in the chat as well, give me your vote for Reece Nelson. Going to be very controversial, this one, because I listened to Arteta after the game, and he was talking him up because of his defensive duties and what he did, especially to Cantwell in the first half. So, African Guna, let's hear. I heard you moaning about Nelson at halftime, and I was like, bro, come on, man. It's all right. So let's see what you got to say, guys in the chat. Let's hear about Reece Nelson.
Yeah, so I mean, listen, Apollo. Of course, Arteta's gonna big him up. I mean, he's his coach. I mean, what do you expect? So I take that with a grain of salt. I think he had no impact whatsoever, and I don't put the blame on Bellerin. I just don't think he has the quality. You could convince me on Nketiah, but I'm not gonna be convinced on Nelson. Even if he scores in the next few games, I just don't think that he has the quality for me. I feel like he's lost a bit of his speed. Like, when he doesn't take on players as much, and when he does, he just doesn't know what to do. When he beats a player, I mean, he comes back inside, and I mean, you've already beaten the player. Just go cut inside and at least take a shot or make a cross. I mean, no impact whatsoever for me. I think that he should have come off, and Pepe should have come on much earlier. It was interesting to see that Joe Willock was the one who came on for him, and I'm going to give him a 4.
Right, I'm going to give him a 6, and the reason why I'm going to give him a 6 because I was watching his game, because he's a player that I'm invested in, and because there's been so much talk about Arteta developing him. The one thing I noticed as well is Arteta was calling him over onto his side because he was close to the touchlines, and he was guiding him, constantly guiding him about his position and where he should be. And that was where he was able to really help out defensively. That's what Arteta wanted. That's what he was able to give him. A little shame he wasn't able to drive into the final third as much as I would have liked him to do. But overall, solid game. I give him a 6, slightly over average, but I expect more from him because I know he can take on players and I know he can provide great crosses into the box. We didn't see that today, but this is his first start in how many games? I don't even know. So, yeah, I've given him a 6 today. Let's see what these guys are saying around here. So we're going with a, let's have a look, a 6. From Cool K was Arsenal's. Maybe, yeah, he was. He was setting the tone when it came to disrupting their passing in the midfield. Oh God, hold on. Let's see if we can get this back. Skrikabos giving him a 4.5. Bertram's given him a 5. James has given him a 6 as well. Vincey's given him a 4. You're saying he looks lost on the pitch. Yeah, I mean, again, Arteta was communicating with him. I took that as a different way. Bellerin never helps David. Bellerin just leaves you out hanging out to dry. Skrikabos just saying West Ham have won. So West Ham's won that game. You guys are just flooding me now. I love all this live stuff. I don't have to watch the television now. You guys are filling me in. 8 points behind Chelsea. Now with 6 games left. That's going to be really interesting. Kez has gone for a 6. I love what he did on the corner, which could have been a beautiful goal. He did the more defensive side today than anything else. Yeah, and that's why I pointed out, and we've gone for the same score because of that, Kez. So brilliant for that. James, 6 points behind Wolves and United we are now. Oh, God, anything can happen. That Wolves game is going to be a lot for us. And we've never beaten Wolves, really, in the last few years. So that's going to be big, big, big for us. Tony's gone for a 4. Nelson can't carry Pepe's jockstrap. No shots. No shots on target, pointless player. Defense, Tony, defense. That was his game today. Dave said, Bellerin was the worst player on the pitch. Mustafi was the worst player. That's why he got hooked off at half time. But Bellerin may be a bit closer. So guys, Reece Nelson, Neomis.
So for me, I gave Reece Nelson a 5. I thought he had an okay performance. Like you, I agree. Like he did a lot of tracking back. He worked hard for the team. Positionally, I thought he was pretty good. But one thing I've noticed about Reece this season, and like you, I'm quite invested in Reece Nelson and Eddie Nketiah. When they first broke on the scene, first time I saw Eddie, he scored a brace against Norwich, I instantly thought this guy is going to make it at Arsenal, whether it be in the starting 11 or a bench player. And Reece, I've never seen such a technically good player, a dribbler like him, come out of our academy and play as well as he has. But Reece Nelson is a confidence player, which is what his problem is. It's going to take Reece Nelson far longer to develop than any other young player that we have, just because he needs regular game time. He needs an opportunity to possibly fail and do badly. He needs constant leadership on the pitch. I was at the Chelsea game earlier on this season. I watched David Luiz, where there was a foul going on and it was a break of play, go and talk to Reece to tell him, try to break lines, because like one of the commenters said, like, he looks lost. And he really does look lost sometimes. I just feel like sometimes he just needs to have a bit more confidence and believe in himself to make those attacking moments, because when he does, and he did it a couple of times today where he was trying to beat 2 and 3 man to get into the box, and if he can do that more, trust me, we have got a player on our hands. But it's probably going to take
Iwobi, by the way. That's what we said about Iwobi. Same exact stuff that you're saying.
Oh, no. Do not disrespect. Do not disrespect Nelson like that with Iwobi.
You think Nelson's better than Iwobi?
Yes.
Hold on, guys.
Yes. I've never been impressed by Iwobi.
Yeah, he won't be even. Okay, so you're saying you've never been impressed by him? He went for 40 million.
And you know what? It's great for the club to get money for him. Like my friend told me today in the Everton game that he was absolutely shit. I'm not sure we could swear on air, but he was terrible, and it doesn't surprise me. Iwobi, like, Iwobi should have gone out on loan earlier on in his career to finish his development. And with him, he needs end product and consistency. If he'd gone out on loan when he first broke in for Arsenal for 2 seasons, he would have been a far better player. Now he has confidence issues. He still needs developing. And Iwobi's 23, 24 now, and
24.
I mean he's no longer 24. He's no longer even a prospect. So the ceiling that he could have gotten to, it's been lowered, unfortunately. But
but that's the thing. That's the thing. When I was tracking what the players were doing at the time, we had Ramsey, Mkhitaryan, a lot of players in the midfield. Iwobi, Welbeck. Iwobi's numbers was comparable to all of them. He had 6 goals, 8 assists. It's comparable. You know what you're getting when a player is developed like that. His end product was really bad. But I keep telling these guys, when we went down to Chelsea, Stamford Bridge, when we played them, beat them 1-0, when we had these really, really good games against top teams, Iwobi and Welbeck's defensive ability, allowing the team not to be too loose at the back. That's why we were being successful at that point. And obviously, Welbeck and Iwobi's gone. And these are the things. We've got such short memories as Arsenal fans. The thing that frustrates me with Arsenal fans the most is how much I look around the league and I see how much teams support their young players. And we just constantly trash our young players. Like, we see one bad performance and it's just us. I don't know why we're like that. And when I hear things about young players, I mean, sometimes we were talking about Joe Willock the other day, and then we were like, oh God, okay, how much games has he actually started? And when we found out it was only 6, I was like, so the guy started 6 games, so what? You know, just let's develop the guys. It's almost like we're not even allowing them to develop. It's so frustrating. Oh my God.
We don't have the time for these guys to develop.
No, now we have no choice to develop them. I will say that with the financial situation that we're in right now, we need Reece Nelson to be good. We need Willock to be good. Like Saka, thank God he's here, because we're going to need all of them to produce. And even some of the ones that's coming through now, Trey Coyle, like he's going to have a part to play. Like, I would have liked Balogun to have something if he'd stayed, but we're going to need some of these young players to step up and to be first team players.
We're never going to make up for with that strategy of taking all these young players and praying to God that Reece Nelson is going to become the next slice of bread. Like, that's the things that we've been doing over the last few seasons.
Read what David says. David, you're my star man tonight. David is bang on. Arteta is known for developing wingers. Let him develop. That's all I'm saying. Let him develop. Give him time. Back the manager. We cannot be successful. And as Kes said, look, our memories are short because, look what Walcott did, even though we treated him like shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Look what he did as a Centurion, and we were treating it. Could you imagine if he was being? I know he was coached by Henry when he was at training ground and everything. But I'm talking about Wenger developing him as a player. If he had developed, the sky would have been the limit. Let's develop our players. Come on, guys, let's get behind our young players. Dan.
Reece Nelson, I'm in between all of you really. Like, I think Reece is he's a slow developer, like you almost said. You know what I mean? I think he's a bit of a slow developer because if you remember, we were talking about Iwobi. When Iwobi first broke into the team, he was a revelation, bro. Like that's why he got such a big fee, because when he first broke through, he was smashing it up, bro. Like, we were like, whoa, look, because he was dribbling past people, doing all these wonderful skills and that, and then broke into the Nigeria team, started doing the same thing for them, doing like highlight reel skills on people, flicking the ball over their head, rainbow flicks and that. You do not see that from Reece Nelson. That's the problem I'm having. That I think he just needs time, maybe stick him back in the youth or send him out on loan. He needs time to develop. I think we're putting too much pressure on him to become like a first team player right now, when every opportunity he's had, he hasn't shown that he, like, if we look at Eddie's flying. Eddie looks ready for that. He looks like our best striker set through the middle right now, by far. Who else we got young in the team? Martinelli, look what he's done since he's been coming through. Saka, he's taken his spot. Even Willock, I know he gets cussed a lot, but I've always defended Willock on here because I think Willock's got something.
I thought he did okay today.
Yeah, he did well. That's what I'm saying. It's just his passing range sometimes is a bit off, but more time, it's okay. It's possible. Just with Nelson, I think he needs a bit more time. I'm not going to slate him off. Like, today he didn't perform that well, but like, I'm not going to slate him off, but you can see he's not ready. Like, I thought he's been playing in and out of the first team now since he was 17. He's 20 now. He's going to be 21 this year in December. So he needs a bit more. I think he needs a couple years loan, to be honest with you. I don't think he's ready for Arsenal yet. I don't think he's ready for the first team yet. I do like him. I can see what he's got in him, but I would personally send him out and loan him. For today, I'll give him a 5.
Interesting.
Like, he didn't do anything, but I do think he needs a bit more time to develop. Like,
yeah, of course.
Develop at different ages, don't they? He's not done at Arsenal, but Iwobi come through at 19, I think it was, and he was on fire immediately. That's why he kept getting games, because he was taken off. But I ain't seen that from Nelson yet.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say what Bertram is thinking. You know, I'm reading the comments about Walcott and just seeing how much love this guy got, and people talk about how this guy wasn't. Oh, come on, oh man! And you know what it was as well. He scored in big games. You know, whether it's United, Chelsea, Spurs, Barcelona, it didn't matter. Man City, he scored in big games.
Can I just say on Walcott though? Walcott was loved at Arsenal, bruv. Come on, man. You know that the term "signed the thing" that was developed for Walcott. Developed for Walcott. If we didn't love him, we wouldn't have that. Even now, when he comes back to Arsenal, he gets a big round of applause and a big cheer. Not all players get that. Fabregas didn't get that. You get me? You get a little clap, but half of the fans will be booing him. So Walcott is loved at Arsenal. You get me? Like, we do love him. We just got frustrated with his injuries because he was injured all the time. That's all it was. And we expected him to be the new Henry. That's what it really was. We signed him. He was looking like he's going to be the new Henry, and he never could be that. But for what he was loved at Arsenal still.
And you know, I got my wish because I wanted him to be a striker. He got 11 goals in 11 games as a striker, and the game he got injured was when we beat Tottenham 2-0, and I think he was out for 8 months or something like that. And then that's when he pulled up the sign and everything. And it was a shame because when he went off, it was like I was sad because I was like, this guy has played as a striker and delivered some of the best performances that we've seen in a lead striker role in a long time. And it's a shame because now he's injured, he's lost the chance. He'll never get that chance again. And he never did he? He never got the chance again. If he'd have stayed fit, he would have locked down that position. I remember my favorite game, I keep talking about this all the time. My favorite game was when we went up to Leicester and we beat them 5-2, and him and Sanchez just destroyed Leicester. That was a team that won the title, and they just made mincemeat out of them. Walcott's run, the movement between Sanchez and Walcott, I tell you, Ozil had a field day. Ozil had, we talk about his 18 assists. He had 12 goals that season as well. Everyone was just going mad. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Anyway, that's gone now, so we're stuck with this 180 million pound strike force, which we cannot get off the ground. Pepe, Laka, and Aubameyang. And speaking of Laka, Laka's up next, everybody. Guys in the chat, let's hear your marks out of 10 for Alexandre Lacazette. Oh, the African Gooner, thank God you've got this one first. Go on, mate. You got
Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on it. It's a waste. I don't want to waste my breath. I think 4. It's discouraging. I like Lacazette. He's a French player. I remember when he scored in the first, I think, 2 minutes against Leicester. He scored a header with his first touch. We were so excited. And he was a good player, to be honest, in the season. And I think he's just been on a downhill roll since then. I think as well he's lost confidence. I don't think he's fit, to be honest. I mean, if you watch him even today, I mean, he doesn't even chase with 100% commitment, right? And
he's lazy.
Yeah, he had 2 or 3 today, and he didn't even put them. I mean, there was one that he didn't even put on target, and I was like, dude, I know it was your left foot, but like, come on. Yeah, it's disappointing. I mean, how much are we really gonna get for him? I don't think we're gonna get more than like 35-40 million for him, but I would sell him. To be honest, we don't need him.
20, man. 20 if we're lucky. 20 if we're lucky. We ain't getting no 35, 40 for him.
40 million loss on him. That's too much.
We should have took 40 if we got offered that, because we're not getting that for him. 20 million player, man.
Yeah, Tony, could you check those numbers? Because when we beat Portsmouth in the FA Cup, he had 2 assists. It was probably his best game, Reece Nelson, this season, which was the FA Cup game. So check the stats, bro. Let's go to the chat room and see what these guys are saying. Oh, whoa! This is so harsh, man. Lacazette. Let's see what our boy Lacazette is going to give us right now. Lacazette, I think we're going to go with a 2 for Vincey. We're going to go with a 2 for 18. Man, you guys are taking him to the sword right now. Lacazette, David's giving him a 4. That's nice. That's good. Kuke's giving him a 3. James is giving him a 5. Okay, James. Yeah, good. Yeah, Nketiah is always lively, bro. Nketiah, you know why? Because he's hungry. He wants to win, and he plays defense. He's in and around the box. His link-up play is well improved. Look, I said this a long time ago. When Laka got dropped in January, I said it's going to be hard for that brother to get back into the team. Because I know what Eddie Nketiah can do. And when I saw Arteta start Nketiah, I said, bro, that's the end of it for Lacazette. He's done. Stick a fork in him. He's cooked, man. Kez is going with 4. Cricket Ball's going with 4. Any more? We've got Tony's going with 4. No other scores on the doors. Neomis, Lacazette, talk to me, man.
Oh, Alexander Lacazette. I gave him a 4. I mean, what else can you say with the guy? He really does not want to be here. Watching Lacazette today was painful. How many shots did he get on target? I think it was none. And he had Aubameyang and Reece Nelson set him up with perfectly good opportunities where if he was far more confident, he would have gotten both of them on target. Might not have scored them, but he would have gotten something on target. He was terrible. And the fact that I gave him a 4 probably is very generous, but he did work hard. He was tracking back, but I just felt that there just wasn't that energy and that drive to want to win and score goals. And yeah, I think you're probably right that I think his time at Arsenal is done. And I think Eddie, who is playing as though like he's the main striker at Arsenal right now, full of confidence.
It's funny because I looked at his face when Xhaka scored. Xhaka ran late into the box, made himself accountable, created space for himself, and got on the end of something and scored. The look on Lacazette's face was of disappointment, as to say, that should have been me. Yeah, it should have been you, bro, because as a striker, work harder. Those are positions you need to take up. Ney has given him 0. Look, I've given him a 3. His link-up play completely failed today. It was non-existent in link-up play. And worse to the chances he had, he just fluffed these lines. He fluffed every chance he had to score. Before the game, I was saying, look, this guy hasn't scored away from home since February 2019. He scored 13 of his last 14 goals at the Emirates. So I said, yay, he's at the Emirates. And look what happened. Man, I don't know about this guy. He's done. I think he's done. And even if he plays well, for me, he'll only be an impact player because my preferred choice up front as a striker is Eddie Nketiah. Dan.
Alexander Lacazette. That's what I called him last week, innit?
I call him Blackazette, man. It's always been Blackazette.
Wacazette, Cacazette, whatever you want to call him. Like this guy, but I think everyone's been generous, mate. Like, did you see? Like, he's definitely lazy, bruv. Because I'm telling you, if you watch here, he makes it look like he's doing work. He makes it look like he's tracking back and stuff, but he don't. He only.
Look what Bertram's saying. Look what Bertram's saying.
Yeah, exactly. But this guy doesn't have that. He doesn't ever. I never see. You see what he does? He tracks back when he knows there's no chance of him catching the player that he's tracking back with. That's what I've noticed about Lacazette. He's turned into. Remember Andre Arshavin off the ball? that guy who'd frustrate you, wouldn't he? He would just be walking back, kicking the dirt and that. That's what sort of guy Lacazette is, man. Like, bruv, he's washed, man. I'm giving him a 2. And that's being generous, bro.
Yeah,
that is being he did nothing. Like I said to you, he got the perfect ball over the top for a volley. This guy does a little hook pass backwards to Joe Willock, who's not even there. And it goes straight to a Norwich defender. And then Joe Willock won the ball back and had a shot.
Yeah,
like, that's what I'm saying. He's shown more hunger in that one movement than Lacazette did in 75 minutes. So, 2.
But I said that to La African Guna when we lost to Olympiacos. They played Lacazette for 85 minutes, and Martinelli came on with 5 minutes to go and did more in 5 minutes than Lacazette did for the whole game. That was why I was like, why are we not playing Martinelli, man? Hashtag free Martinelli at Arsenal. So, guys, we're moving on to our last one, and if the guys want to talk about the subs, they can. It's Aubameyang. But before we get to Aubameyang, I want to thank everybody who's made contributions to the channel. Thank you very much for all those guys who's put in a little £2, £5 or £10 on the channel. Really, really appreciate it. We're going to be doing more watch alongs, so we'll be able to spread it out a little bit more. And then we're also going to stream here, and we're going to stream live to Facebook as well. So a lot of things are coming up now. We're developing on the channel. So all your contributions, guys, are going to a good cause where we can try and give you a better service and a better show all around. So La African Guna, let's talk about Aubameyang. It's going to be a lot of people's man of the match. 2 goals and 1 assist.
Obama who? Obama what? Obama Black. Oh man, listen. I think that the system we're playing is actually it's helping him a lot, because as you see, he's not playing on the wing anymore. Because we have Kolasinac and Tierney on that side, he's drifting into the middle much more. And as we said, like, you know, Lacazette would have never scored that goal that Aubameyang scored, and that's the second time that Aubameyang scored a goal like that. I remember it wasn't this season; it was last season when he did the same exact thing and scored. I mean, it was a free goal, but you know. And you know, I was celebrating like there's no tomorrow, like we won the Champions League, and my dad's saying, you know, why are you celebrating? You guys are playing a shit team. And I was like, listen, Dad, you don't understand what we've been going through. We'll take any win, we'll take any goal that we can, because we've been struggling for goals and we've been struggling for wins. And today really epitomizes Aubameyang, and it goes back to showing that he is a striker. He's not a winger. I mean, tied for the Golden Boot. Obviously with Vardy, we have to keep him. We can't. I mean, we were saying getting rid of him. I think regardless of his age, And by the way, that's probably true.
Yes, it is true. No, I'm sorry. It is. It's gonna be.
Regardless of Aubameyang's age, I think he has so much value to the team. Right, number 1. Player to reach 50 goals, beating Thierry Henry. I mean, we talk about, you know, Van Persie being a great striker and Alexis Sanchez and Giroud and all these players. I mean, he's topped them all, right? He's a phenomenal player. And what I realized today is when the team is ticking and, you know, he's on his gear, he's unstoppable. But when he's out of the game and we're playing a tough opposition that kind of play him off the field and doesn't get involved, then he goes missing. So it's kind of difficult with him. But as I said, when he's on his game, I mean, I wanted him to get a hat trick. I was surprised that Arteta took him off. I mean, he's going for the Golden Boot. We have really tough fixtures coming up. I mean, it would have been nice to see if he got a hat trick. But again, I mean, can't complain. 9, tied man of the match with Ceballos for me.
Excellent. So let's hear what our panel, let's hear what the chat room is saying. James has gone for a 9 man of the match. Vincey's gone for an 8. David's gone for an 8.6. It's a nice one there, David. Daniel's going for Bammy. Man said Bammy, you know. Man said Bammy. Yeah, he's gone for an 8. And Nay's gone for a 9. 18's gone for a 9 as well, man of the match. Bertram saying Laka is the second most yellow cards on the team. Oh, wow. Man is just burnt toast, man. Not dead food. Burnt toast. Yeah? Man is burnt toast.
He's lazy. Like Dan said, he's lazy, right? So he gets caught. Like if he loses the ball, he'll go and he'll just follow the guy because he's not going to chase him down. That's why he gets all the yellows. He just takes the guy out.
Yeah, burnt toast, man. Is dead food. Aubameyang man of the match 9 for Cools. Cricket Ball's giving him man of the match 8.5. Tony's give Obama blood clot Yang man of the match is giving him a 9. And Nay saying, he's dead, man. Burnt food, burnt toast, dead food. Call it what you want. Man said like a donkey, you know. Joseph, good to see you on, Joseph. Joseph's given him a 9 as well. Neomis.
I gave Aubameyang a 10. I mean, he two goals, created a chance. What he hadn't I mean, the mentality where he hadn't scored in like 4 games, and they said in the last game that the last time he went more than 4 games without scoring was back in 2014 when he first got to Dortmund. For him to come on, impact like this, and only get the record for Arsenal being the quickest to 50 goals. What a player, like what a guy. I hope we sign him to a new contract at Arsenal. And I just wish that Wenger would have stopped dithering and signed this guy when he was at St. Etienne all them years ago, because he would have broken all of their records. He'd have broken Henry's and Wrighty's record. But yeah, for me, 10. Almost a perfect game.
So for me, I've given him a 9. Normally on a performance like this, probably would have given him an 8, but I'm giving a 9 because 2 goals and 1 assist. Me, Bertram, and Tony, and La African Guna, and Ebony have always talked about his lack of ability of outside of being a striker. And today we saw strong defensive performance. We also saw a great pass and a slip to Xhaka, and it's something we don't see him do. We don't see him play those balls into the box, which creates scoring opportunities. He gets an assist today. I believe that's only his 2nd assist of the season. He has the lowest assists in the top 10 strikers in the league. We need to see more of that. He did it today. Give him kudos, yeah? Give him props. Yeah, give him props for doing what he did. And for me, he gets a 9. Dan?
10 out of 10. Definitely. Yep. As a striker, you've got to give assists and goals. He got 2 out of 4 goals today. 2 of them were his, and the other one he set up for Xhaka with a lovely bit of play and a nice little flick of a pass. The crackers, you know. These are killing it in the comments. David is smashing it up, bro. But, what was I going to say? Yeah, you see, that's who gave Lacazette that ball that he fluffed and it flicked over his head. It was Aubameyang. The cross was phenomenal, bruv. Like, he picked him out beautifully. This is what we haven't seen from Aubameyang all since he joined, is the ability to put a decent cross in the box. The one time he does, Lacazette F's it up. I nearly saw them. But, yeah, like, Aubameyang gave a perfect striker's performance today. What do you want? 2 goals and an assist or 3 goals? That's the perfect striker performance. If that was like Henry-esque, do you see what I'm saying? And both his goals today, by the way, he stole them. They weren't gifts. He stole them. The first one, he anticipated the throw-in. The guy was like, I'll leave that for my teammate. And he hid behind the guy, yeah? And then the throw-in came past and he nicked in. That was the second goal. First goal, he stole it off Tim Krul. They're opportunist goals. Like Sanchez used to do that all the time. He used to make his own goals by making the other team fluff up. So he made his own goals today. Obviously, they were mistakes by Norwich, but he capitalized on them. He was there to capitalize on them. And the mark of a good striker is being in the right position at the right time. And he always finds himself there. So definite 10 out of 10 today, man. Definite 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I think, Kez, interesting that you say that. I think the discussion as far as development goes in that system is Arteta will keep him out on the right, because if you can get 20 goals out of Nketiah and you can get 20 goals out of Aubameyang and you can get double-digit goals out of Pepe, then I think that you're somewhere near creating something that Wenger had here. We've been looking for a combination threat. You've got Saka and Martinelli playing behind these guys. I think that it's workable, but it really depends on what the player wants to do long-term and where his future is. So, guys, that's the player ratings. I'm going to go around the clock here, and if you guys want to talk about the substitutes, then, you know, shoot in. I just want to say I thought Willock did well today. And obviously, Cedric Soares, wow, I mean, I'm not even going to say where did that come from, because in the games I was watching on his video and his highlights, he can do that, man. He can do that. That left foot of his, jeez. James has let us know what he's thought. Eddie 6.5, Soares 7.5, Saka 6.5, Holding 7. Okay. Who's that?
Saka didn't come on, right? Let's see him.
Saka didn't come on.
Yeah, I don't think Saka played, but I go with them scores. African Guna, what are you saying on the subs?
Yeah, so for me, firstly, Willock didn't have enough time to impact. It might be a bit harsh from me and might be my bias, but he had one chance where he skied it. I think he could have done a little bit better on that one chance.
That was the one where Lacazette fluffed it and set him, and he had to win the ball back, and then he kicked it over. Yeah.
Apart from that, I think he's just a running machine for me. I think he still has a lot to develop, but I mean, he didn't do anything wrong. He comes in and he tries his best. He gives 110%, and that's all you can ask for. He obviously buffed up the midfield because Arteta wanted to just solidify the win. And in terms of Suarez, I think he's much shorter than I expected. When he came on, I didn't realize that he was actually that short. But yeah, I mean, what more can you expect? I think that was his third or fourth touch, and he bangs it in. It did take a deflection, but I mean, I don't really care. I mean, what a goal, right? And that's something that we want Bellerin to be doing, regardless of what foot it is. I mean, Bellerin has scored goals like that, specifically against Chelsea twice with his left foot. But I mean, it's very rare to see Bellerin taking on shots that actually are on target. So hopefully we see Suarez bring a lot more to the team. I think it's quite early, even though he scored, to really say much about him. So hopefully he starts in the next couple of games. And in terms of Pepe, I mean, yeah, man, as soon as this guy comes on, I was really encouraged. I was screaming at the TV, like, take him on, because I really wanted that fifth goal, man. I just wanted another one. I had a craving that, you know, when we start scoring goals, and I remember against Wenger, when we started beating teams, we would like put the foot on the pedal or foot on the gas, and we wouldn't let off, right? We just put our foot on the throat and just suck them out, suck all the life out of them. And that's what I wanted, and that's what I want Arteta to instill in this team. When we get one goal, it's 0-0, and we go for the second goal and we kill off the game. Because as soon as we get 2-0, we're able to go 3, 4, 5, and we can just kill teams. Because you saw Norwich was completely gassed. I mean, their heads were down. After that second goal, they knew the game was pretty much over. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how Pepe performs against the other teams, against Wolves and stuff. But again, the game was already pretty much over. I think the management by Arteta with the subs was good. As I told you, Apollo, I did want to see Reece Nelson come off a bit earlier, and I also wanted Lacazette to come off earlier. I think Nketiah didn't have much game time, but maybe we're saving him up for Wolves. So yeah, I'm happy. I can't complain.
Excellent. Neomis, before you go, David, why do you think he bought? Yeah, because as I said, all the injuries in January, we were literally to a point where we couldn't even line anybody up in the new year, and that's why we brought him in. But he brought him in because of his vast experience. He's got Bellerin, who's inconsistent and injury prone. He's got Niles, who keeps on saying he's not a right back and wants to move into the middle. He was really at a point where he had no experience at that position, and that's why he brought him in. And he's a very experienced player. He's tough, he's hard as nails, he goes into tackles like a lightning bolt. I don't want him to become another Matthew Debussy. I want them to give this guy some proper minutes, because I like Debussy. Debussy is a serious player, and we frogged him off. What we should have done is we should have played him and Bellerin intermittently. Instead, we just completely benched Debussy and then went with Bellerin, and that was it. Neomis, what did you think of the subs?
I thought overall, Willock, I gave a 6. I thought he did pretty well. Again, Willock just, working hard for the team, tracking back. Again, I'm a fan of Willock as well. But, I want to see him continue to get more goals. So for me, I gave him a 6. Holding, I also gave a 6 as well. Good, solid performance when he came on at halftime as well. So I had nothing to complain about. Nketiah and Pepe, I both gave 5s, just because they wasn't on the pitch that long to really, for me, have enough impact on the game. But I think if they had started the game, I think they would have been easily more than a 5 from everything that I've seen from the past. And then Suarez, I gave instantly a 7, because I always give an extra 2 for what he was on the pitch for a little while. Within a few minutes, scores a goal on his debut. I mean, like, absolutely brilliant. And I didn't think that he had that kind of ability in him. I know defensively he's pretty solid. I've seen him play for Portugal, and he's a really good player defensively. But it's good to see that he has also that attacking threat in him as well.
Good. And Dan, what's your views on the substitutes?
I I want to start with Cedric, man, because we, like, those of us who've seen the Premier, like him in the Premier League, knew, like, defensive, yeah, cool, but this guy, Arteta even said he's the best attacking fullback he's got. And if you look at, we were talking about Kieran Tierney earlier with the crossing, yeah. Cedric came on. There was one period where the ball kept coming back to him like 3 or 4 times in a row, and every cross he put in was perfect. Obviously, it never came to anything, but it was in the perfect area, perfect height, whatever, different variations, you know what I mean? So imagine you've got him and Tierney, then you've got 2 fullbacks who can put a ball into the box. And another thing as well, yeah, I seen them come, they broke through down his side one time, and him and Xhaka doubled up on a player. And it was him that just stood his ground, like did a little block tackle and took the ball off the player just calmly, where Bellerin's out all panicking, flailing his arms around and stuff. So in that little period he came on, yeah, he only was on for a very short amount of time, but he got an 8 for me because he scored a goal and he showed more than Bellerin did in the entire game in terms of defensive ability and attacking ability, attacking threat. So yeah, I gave Cedric a 7. I gave Pepe 5 because he weren't on. Like he didn't really get a chance. 5, 6. I gave, who else was on? Holding. I gave a 7 because when he came on, he made Mustafi look like why Mustafi shouldn't be playing and Holding should be playing. Do you see what I'm saying? He was much more solid. And who else was the last one? Who else came on? Eddie. I give Eddie a 6, man, because he came on and did more than Lacazette did in the whole match. He made that keeper scared, bruv. Like straight away, as soon as he come on, he started chasing the keeper down. The keeper was like, boom, gone. Yeah. So I reckon we need to. The reason I think Arteta chose this team today, I was a bit fuming. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw that selection, I was a bit like, what is going on here? But he's seen Wolves coming up. He's like, let me just rest my boys because when Wolves comes up, we're gonna put Saka, all the heavy mob in there, you know what I mean? Yep. So that's what he was doing today. I think Cedric might play. I think Cedric might play against Wolves.
100%.
We're going to have our strongest 11 going forward.
So they were my subs.
We've never been able to get a result against these guys, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. We're going to do a preview on that as well. So guys, listen, that's it from us today. Thank you everybody for joining us for the after game show. Some great responses from you guys tonight. You guys are proper lively. I know you're in there drinking your beers and having fun. We won 4-0 today, guys. Brilliant, fantastic. Yep. We're actually, I thought we were done and dusted, but actually it's in our own hands now. If we start to turn results around, we're going to shorten the gap between us and the top teams. And that's something that, quite frankly, I don't believe that this team can do. Do I believe it now? No, because I want to see the result against Wolves. I want to see the Wolves game. If we can beat Wolves, and I'll tell you this, if we can beat Wolves, everything's going to change for us for 2 reasons. One, because we'd have beaten a team and overcome something that we just haven't been able to do under Wenger or Emery. And beating Wolves, guys, is something that not a lot of teams can do. Wolves has had the best record over the last 18 months against the top 4 teams than any other team in the league. Wolves has had the best record against Chelsea, Liverpool, City, United, than any other team in the league. They are a tough outfit. And if we can beat them, I believe that we can then beat Leicester, because Leicester are lockdown drunk at the moment. Leicester's form has been awful since they've come back from the lockdown. They are there for the taking. So I believe that if we can beat Wolves, I think we'll beat Leicester. And everything that I predicted is going to be out the window, because I didn't think that we were going to get anywhere near those. So any closing arguments from you guys?
Yeah, in terms of the Wolves game, I think we all know who the danger man is. I mean, obviously Jimenez in the middle is obviously important, but man, that guy Traore, he's going to give me nightmares the night before that match, because he's definitely going to be their key player. And we need to make sure that Saka and Tierney hold him down. And I think that Arteta moving forward definitely needs to play this 3-4-3 that we've started playing. I think it's a system that suits us very well right now. It beefs up our defense, because we know that we don't have the talent there to really cope with the bigger boys. So it's going to be really interesting. And as you said, Apollo, if we don't beat Wolves, forget European places. We have to beat Wolves. You know, it's one game at a time, obviously, but to have any hope of beating the bigger teams, aka the Leicester, even though they're not playing well, we can't deny they are a very good team and they could still show up against us. We know Vardy always shows up against us. And then obviously Liverpool and Tottenham. So yeah, that's going to be really, really important for us. And as I said before, Arteta right now he's doing the job well. I mean, look, we're seventh in the league. We're back into contention. As long as he keeps going with this run, I think we might have a chance to actually make something of the season. I still think we're going to lose against City, but I mean, we can hope as fans, right? And I do want to say we shouldn't get carried away. I know we're all excited. We won 4-0, but at the end of the day, we did play Norwich. They're last in the league. We shouldn't get too gassed up, even though a win is a win. So just always keep that in mind, because when we raise our expectations, right, Apollo, what happens? We get slapped up and then we get put back down to reality. So we just got to keep our head low and just focus on the next game.
Excellent. Neil, Miss Dan?
For me, this game against Wolves is the real test. But I'm actually brimming with confidence. I think the performance that we put today, everything that I've seen so far, I can definitely see a progression. And I think now, seeing the way how Arteta has changed the team around, I do think that in this game against Wolves, we're going to see our best 11. So we're going to see Suarez. We're going to see at right back. We're probably going to see Saka back. Aubameyang will be playing. Pepe will be playing. Nketiah. And I think if we follow Arteta's plan, I really think that we can do it. And once we do it, like, I actually believe we could get Champions League football. Like, I know I probably sound like a deluded gooner right now, but like, honestly, I'm like, I say this now, and then what? When's the Wolves game? Was what, Saturday?
Yeah.
Like, I really do think we're gonna win. I honestly do. Now, if you invite me back, I might be really miserable if we lose, but I'm positive right now.
Excellent. Dan?
I think we're going to beat Wolves, but I just think like the only reason we haven't beaten them is like because we've just been below par, really. Like we've not been at our level for the last couple of seasons since Wolves have been up, basically. Do you know what I mean?
That's a good point.
I don't think they're really above us in terms of like, this is what we've forgotten. We've forgotten our players are actually quite good, you know, bro. Like when you've seen them the last few games, we're actually quite a good team. Do you know what I mean? It's just we need to play at our level, and we've started to hit that again now. We saw it before the lockdown. We're starting to see it again now. Our level is actually European football level. Let's not say Champions League, but it's definitely European football level. I think we're better than Leicester on paper as well. I know it's mad because they're high up there, they're third or whatever, but on paper, we are better. I think our defenders, for example, are better than Johnny Evans, fam. Like, I don't think they've got, like, mad. I think Kieran Tierney is better than Ben Chilwell. Do you get what I'm saying? I think, like, our strikers, I think Aubameyang is better than Vardy. Do you see what I mean? I think on paper, we have a better team than them, but it's just they play better as a team at the moment. But we're starting to see that we're forming a better team, and yeah, I think we should be beating Wolves. I do think we should be beating them, but will we? I don't know. I don't know if we'll get European football this year, but I don't really care because sometimes that helps you. We're not going to have a load of money to buy Champions League level players anyway, so maybe it will actually help us if we don't get Europe. Remember that season when Chelsea were out of it, and like they the next year they managed to win the league. I don't know. I'm not saying we will, but I think it might help us having less fixtures in a season. Do you see what I mean?
It might help us there, but what it does is it will definitely lower the transfer money that Arteta gets. The higher, the better he does and what he qualifies for, that will facilitate a lot.
Of course, but I don't think we're of that caliber to be attracting the players that we want to get anyway. Do you know what I mean? I don't think we're currently, I think we're an attractive proposition just because we're Arsenal. Like when Man United were out of the European trophies and that, they were still getting Pogba and players like that.
Yeah. I kind of live in hope because Liverpool was able to attract a plethora of good players. Yeah, and they went in the Champions League. So I live in hope. Yeah.
And Liverpool weren't signing like the Mbappes and them quality Neymars and that. They were signing rejects from Chelsea and Salah. They were signing Mane from Southampton. They were signing that quality of players, and we need to get off the snobbery. I said this a couple of weeks ago. Come off the snobbery, because the players we're going to find at Celtic, like Kieran Tierney, maybe even like, look at how Moussa Dembele from Chelsea's doing now. He's rated as one of the best players in Europe up front. So you just need to come off the snubbery, maybe sign a few players outside of the sphere of what we're used to, and you'll see us have an upturn. But yeah, I think we will beat Wolves, but if we actually do, that's another question. Depends what Arsenal turns up, innit? So.
Well, you know, all I'm saying is, after my closing argument is, after seeing Lacazette today, I would keep Balogun. Seriously, I would keep anybody, yeah, because how are we gonna that 18-year-old? I would say to him, look, bro, we're gonna sell Lacazette, so we see you as Nketiah's number 2. That's what I would say to him. Anyway, listen, that's it. We're done, guys. Appreciate all the love. And thank you, everybody. Where can we find you?
I have one more thing. Sorry, I have one more thing. One, I'm happy that we got rid of Mkhitaryan. That's confirmed. Good, we got him off the books. And two, I wanted to know, I mean, I feel insulted that like they keep lying to us about Ozil. I don't care if he's playing or not, but at least come and tell the fans the truth. I mean, that's what, 5 games now, and he's not even the team. This is disgraceful, man. This guy's getting paid $350K a week, and you're telling me, you know, same old back problems and all these excuses. I'm tired of it. Again, I don't care if or not. Just at least be honest with the fans and tell us what's going on, because I mean, he's the most highest paid player. It's not possible that he's not in the squad. And also, it's interesting to see if Pereira comes straight into the team on Sunday against Wolves. We have a winning formula right now. It's going to be interesting to see if Arteta just puts them straight in there.
Yeah, true. All right, guys, where can we find you, La African Gooner?
You can find me on Twitter at La African Gooner, and you can also find me on my YouTube channel, La African Gooner. Excellent.
Neomis, where can we find you? Shout out your channel, bro.
Yeah, you can find me on my YouTube channel, AFC Neomis, and on Twitter as well, AFC Neomis as well.
And Dan, shout out your channel, bro.
Yep, everywhere at Idhan YT, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of it.
Excellent. So, guys, you see, it's a great panel here. All of them have YouTube channels. So, listen, subscribe to their channels and support them. If you like what they were saying tonight, follow them. They much appreciate it, yeah? Part of 101 is about growing communities. So, please, guys, support them. That's it from us. See you guys later on the next one. Peace out, man.
Thanks, guys.